Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Well, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. The timing of the religious wars could not have been so impeccable, in my opinion. So, if you see the thumbnail there, it shows Vatican. We all know Vatican. Most of us should know. Most of us that follow Teo Ministries channel If you haven't, he has an excellent playlist to get you caught up in the understanding of what and who and how and why. What did this to us? What entity did this to us? And understand we are in a man made system that was spiritually orchestrated. I want you to to digest that. A man-made system that is spiritually orchestrated. Because I need us to understand that there are certain things. Shalom, brother Gabahan. Thank you. Glad you can make it. Yes, you made the live. Hallelujah. But I want you to understand from the context of how we got into this position and the emergency that these nations are facing, because there has always been a conspiracy against us. Who's us? The Most High's people. Who's us? Yasharel. Who's us? Judah, Yehuda. See, understand when you look at Jeremiah 33, when you look at Proverbs chapter 3, when you look at Sirach, understand that you're now seeing the faces of crafty counsel being masked by black folks. Shout out to Brother Yakoba. I'm holding his book right now. If y'all want to see my face, I really don't show my face here, but y'all want to see my face? Here, you all can see my face. See if it can actually catch it. True Jerusalem. And notice that area, Africa, if the image thing can kind of go away for a little bit. It doesn't really. There we go. Put my hand in there. That AI kind of messes with things. But right there in the heart of it all, the DRC. Right there in the heart of it all, the heart of Africa. See, why is the DRC so important? Well, it's being called out. It's being called out as a nation that's folded, same as Zimbabwe. Because the pressure is on. And understandably, why is the pressure on? Because there has been a concerted effort of Black people, African Americans, African diaspora. It's not just Americans, it's not just Caribbeans, it's the African diaspora that has been planning to move or making a move to the continent. DRC is a Democratic Republic of Congo. Oh, excuse me. the DRC also has invited um, I forgot the name of it. Eric Prince and his folks. They are basically, I mean, they're basically U.S. backed mercenaries. To do what? To continue to pillage and plunder the resources. Angola didn't bite, and neither Zambia. So now you still have the DRC, which is more than destabilized, and you have the puppet leaders there that's more than amenable to continue the destabilization because just quite simply, as Traore had said, you have cowards as leaders. And at the end of the day, those that try to save their lives end up losing it in the worst ways. Because you can't appease a master that absolutely hates and abhors your people and your nation, but want all the resources. How does that work? My neighbor absolutely hates my family and I, but I let them come through and get all the groceries that we have after we go grocery shopping. And we're just left with two slices of bread after we done spent $500 on our grocery bills. Can we understand? Can we see that analogy there? Now, understand you have spiritual wickedness in what? In high places. However, you also have spiritual wickedness that we deal with every day, and we don't know that we're dealing with it because we've dealt with things in a very, very innocuous manner. So, one of the colleagues I work with, this was back on Tuesday, and there had been some things that we had been engaged with and some different planning and other activities. And so through that, I had been able to meet not just her husband, but also her children as she would bring them up to school. And so over that course of time, and it was a discussion because she was excited, and she told me, she said, Karis, guess what? I am getting ready to be indoctrinated into the Eastern Stars. And I said, oh boy, my heart dropped. Because in these conversations, right, one of the first things that I had explained, I said, look, I'm an Israelite. I'm a Hebrew. That's who I am. That's what we are. That is, excuse me, our bloodline. That is literally how we are historically traced. We just got told something else. And we all do. Everybody can take a 23andMe DNA test, and guess what? It will land them right there in Europe for most of our Caucasian counterparts here. But They don't care about history because honestly, they don't care about history. However, they care about our history because our history is literally a stumbling block that they've had to hide for the last 2,000 years. And I would say the relevance of them hiding it has actually only been about 250 years. And the reason it's been around 250 years, if you look at all that, roughly speaking, 16th, 17th century, is because of our captivity here in the United States or North America or via colonial rulership, which has now been here at this time frame. There had to be a systematic approach to destroy our identity. And in that systematic approach, you had to have folks that in our people, our families, because this has been in most of our families, there has to be some sellouts in our families, whether witting or unwittingly, knowing or unknowingly, allowing for the sellout to continue while they get rewarded these trinkets. And the trinkets are dollars. And now we're starting to understand just how volatile, just how basically shaky their system has been. Because now, when the move is made to try to continue to contain the white supremacy, or excuse me, in this case, expand white supremacy, vanity, pride, arrogance, it has created an economic backlash. And now you're seeing that the dollar was basically, it's on its last legs. How much longer do we have the dollar? Honestly, I don't know. Because now the collision course has been set because China got the opening. And I don't know you all, but I've never seen a snake. I've never seen a lizard. I've never seen any type of reptile creature that once they have a taste in its mouth, a penchant for being able to swallow and engulf, whether you were an enemy or whether you were a friend or foe. Them reptile creatures do not let go of their prey. They go all in and they will swallow that prey whole. The bird is getting swallowed up. The eggs are getting swallowed up. Because what are they going to next, man? They've gone for the children. They knew who to target. Because why? Because it's a concerted effort of influence. Well, we're not going to drag away the kids just yet. We're going to drag away the kids spiritually through anime and all sorts of other influences. Because why? It was the same thing that they done to us. It's being done to them. So now you're going to have a clash of cultures, and make no mistake, it has been a religious war, and now the religious war is just heating up. And I'm telling you, the reason the religious war is heating up, it is because we have begun to not just wake up, but we've begun to honestly disassociate. I think I'll work with my people for a while. Let me heal, right? We're not even allowed to heal. Remember what we had said? Can we just heal? Even our people had the sense enough to say, we just need to heal. Give us a chance to heal. Nope. Because when you start to heal, you start to cry out. When you start to cry out, the Most High listens. And when the Most High listens, guess what? He answers. But this go around, this time, they're tripping over their own feet because they don't know how to deal with us. See, they can't deal with history. So what they have to deal with is all of these nonsensical straw man arguments that they frame so that it's easier for them to attack. And then they say, oh, I'm anti-woke. Well, then explain to me what woke is to begin with. You know, talking about white supremacy, talking about vanity and pride, talking about arrogance, and that people are waking up to that, waking up to the understanding that what they are doing is now affecting the global markets. Again, they're getting poorer because of their racism. That's the snare that they laid, and they fell right into it. That's what you see in these scriptures. And they can't even understand it. Because here's the thing, let's not be ignorant or coy. They understand it. They just choose not to address it. And then you choose not to address it. Do you know what that means? That means that you are in covenant with it. Silence is consent. So do you know that this nation is consented to what is happening? And that's why with black folks like myself, African Americans, African diaspora, Yahudin, however you want to label it or phrase it for your understanding and how you want to feel about it. Exactly, Brother Garth. They are complicit. They are complicit. And here's the reality of being complicit. Again, I liken this to World War II because at the end of World War II, do you know that everybody was a Nazi? It didn't matter if you were German, you were a Nazi. Do you know that they had to wear that title for 40? It was like literally 40 years. Oh, you're a German, you must be a Nazi. They're wearing that title clear until like the fall of the Berlin Wall. Because as soon as that happened, then they went over to, you know, to Brussels and they said, oh, please, please help us to take away our that stigma. And they're like, yeah, sure, produce more BMWs and Mercedes Benzes and, you know, Volkswagens. And we'll get your image cleaned up. It'll take about 10, 15 years. We don't have social media where you can, have your media, tarnished and and built up in a matter of 15 minutes, 15 hours. It is literally a 15 hours news cycle. And so right now, that is the same trajectory and path that this nation is on. And the reality is that because this nation is on that path, they don't know that they're on the path. Because you want to know why? Because they're getting rid of all of us. They've already told you. They don't want us in their jobs. They don't want us around them. And here's the thing. We have happily obliged. I don't care what they say in the law. Oh, well, we this. No, we'll do this ourselves. And a lot of our people got the message in the memo so perfectly that you now literally have General Langley, who is a black, he's a mouthpiece. When you get to that, you become mouthpieces of white supremacy. That's all that is. Yeah, you may have the black skin. You may have been, quote unquote, coming up from the block, the neighborhood, but do you understand that you have to then accept the indoctrination to continue white supremacy? That's your oath. Exactly, Mr. G, because a lot of people in our generation have realized if I'm taking an oath for this Constitution, if I'm saying something for this Constitution, what that actually means is that I'm complicit in white supremacy and I am actually a vanguard, a garrison, a stalwart for the white supremacist culture. And the more you go up in ranks, the more you become recruited, and you then become recruited into the quote unquote inner circles. And, as it was explained by the person I work with, her Masonic order is different. Their lodge is different. With her husband, it's different. They're in a military lodge. And here's the thing, and I understood it all. I understood all of that. But here's also, excuse me, one of the things that I had to recount when she was saying all that. Her rationale was this. Her rationale was, I'm able to be functional in that because I know that when it gets too bad, I know our Father will be able to bring us out of that. So she knows she's an Israelite. She's read the word. But again, I tell you, this is why it's dangerous out here in these awakening streets. Because if you haven't been spirit filled, born again, under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, having that spiritual discernment and understanding to test the fruits by the fruits, to understand and to pray about it. And if you have no idea of any of that, that's like literally sending a child to a gunfight. Because why? Because these are the spiritual apparati that functions in how we move and conduct our daily lives. And in the conversation, it was quick and dirty. And I said, yeah, you may be taking an oath to God, but they don't tell you which God. And that God is not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's not the God of the Israelites. It's not the God of Yasharel. I said, yeah, you are taking an oath to God, but I said that that's the God of Molech, Mammon, and Raphan. That's the God of Babylon. I said, matter of fact, it's not a God. I said, you're taking it to gods because you're taking it and you're yoking yourself to a principality. In that principality, it may look nice. It may come with trinkets. It may have the nice toys. Hey, you will be financially set and secure. Yes, you will. Because why? Because that's the deal that you're making. But what you're doing is that you're gaining the whole world, but you're forfeiting your soul. And it's not just your soul, but you're forfeiting the generations that come after you. You are taking a covenant and you're yoking yourself and your family to that covenant. And yes, you may say this now until that covenant with that demon tells you, you better do this, you better do that, or I'm going to kill you and your family. It's a doozy. And so I had to explain to her those implications. But here's the thing, it's not just her. That's how we have been yoked in this. This is a religious war. And it's not a religious war, it's a spiritual war. Because why? It was all for us to be yoked under their spiritual authority. Because why? Because we as a people chose this when we rejected the covenant that the Most High had with us. The covenant of solidarity, the covenant of being able to be focused with one another. See, if you're trying to have a people be focused, then telling them to be out of focus. Shout out to our family on out there, had this conversation. Our sons and our daughters are being told to be out of focus from the age of literally what I'm seeing from about third grade, kindergarten, third grade. They're hyperactive. They have a lot of energy. They can't concentrate. Oh, that's the lack of concentration. The lack of concentration. We were talking about an anime. The anime was talking about concentration and total concentration. This person would breathe, and before he would attack a demon, in the anime it was Demon Slayer, he would breathe and have total concentration to do what? To attack the enemy. They literally throw all that in our faces. Because why? Because you have to be calm. Because when you're calm, you're able to focus on what the Most High has been able to do for us and his people. When we get on the concentration chain train that he has given us. And as I was thinking about that, I said, that is absolutely true. But when I see and I do something, I have to do gamification with the kids. To do what? To get them to be inspired. To work on something. And when they work on what I've inspired them to work on, I give it to them like this. Hey, in real life, you have to be able to talk to people. I don't even tell them what I do on social media. I don't tell them that. But I tell them this. I said, you have to understand this is going to be really, that's the new economy. What are they doing for this new economy? Everybody is on social media. Everybody's showing their profile. Everybody has an AI script. Do and say the right thing so the algorithm can pick you up. Isn't that episode of Black Mirror with our one dude from the British actor? I forgot his name. He had gone crazy and the algorithm loved it and he got picked up and he was able to get his trinkets. And now we're starting to understand the algorithm and now we're starting to beat the algorithm. And here's the thing. What we do is outside of the algorithm. I'm going to share this here real quick. This is from, sorry, not the sad. Let me put this in the chat. Yeah, this all starts to tie in. Our fight has to be waged differently because that is information warfare. Because understand, Burkina Faso had offered citizenship to the African diaspora that included the United States. All you had to do was literally just take a blood test just to prove that you are of African descent. Not even a Burkinabe descent, of African descent. And then you send that in the application over to the embassy of Burkina Faso. Do you know what happened after that? That's when they started to go after citizens that reject their citizenship, that repatriate, that expatriate. Fine, you want to go, but you're going to still pay 10 years worth of taxes. Fine, you want to go, but you still have these fees. Oh, they started to go crazy. Understand, this is the lockdown. These Negroes have the audacity to move a medical shipping container whose final destination is Burkina Faso. These Negroes have the audacity to want to be able to help come together with their brothers and sisters on the continent. I wish I had more time, but here we go. South Africa's EFF rejects U.S. claims on Burkina Faso gold. A South African, so, Julius Malema, that's him on the left right here. A South African leftist political party have strongly rejected U.S. Senate allegations against Burkina Faso's president, Captain Ibrahim Traore. And then the Senate, during a hearing by a representative of the U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, accused Traore of diverting Burkina Faso's gold reserves for personal security rather than for the welfare of his people, an accusation the EFF has outrightly rejected. And it says that the EFF has denounced this claim as a blatant imperialistic tactic aimed at destabilizing a sovereign African state that is asserting control over its natural resources. When I thought about that, I immediately thought about this. Psalms 83. Keep not thou silence, O Elohim, hold not thou peace, and be not still, O Elohim. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Because why? Because the Most High is moving within his people worldwide. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Now you understand why they're having a black pope. Because why? They broke out the black pope because this is crisis time. Break in case of emergency. Have to be a cobra. Come on now, fam. Come on. I know Yakoba's going to be touching on this one, so I'm not going to try and steal all the thunder. But they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel, Yasharel, may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. What is that? You have the Edomite kingdom, both sides. What did Traore reject? He rejected not Islam, but he rejected the mosque being built by Saudi Arabia, which is what? A system of control. This is spiritual warfare that's waged by man. Let me finish this. Assur, I read that. Psalms 83:9. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb. Yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zamuna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Elohim in possessions. O my Elohim, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahuwah. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahuwah, art the Most High over all the earth. Well, here's that same logic, Brother Daryl. We're a Christian nation, and we're kneeling to Cesar Borgia. So, I mean, we all have to come to the logic that we're all flawed. But here's the thing, you don't get better overnight. Everybody was in a time of ignorance. You can't say to a kindergartner, and you're 50 years old, you don't know everything I know. What's the matter with you? Because why? Because spiritually, they're at the kindergarten level. This is why I talk about neo-diplomacy. Because here's the thing, our people don't even want to engage in a conversation. Just give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Man, who does that? Even the wicked here know how to engage in conversations. America has no problem buddying up with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all these folks that serve Islam, especially for that oil and for the resources. But what we're doing is different. We're coming back together with our family. You're going to cut your family off because they were forced to worship wood and stone. We were worshiping wood, they're worshiping stone. Are you going to say my wood is much better? Family, this is now the time to make an impact. And the impact starts now. It starts today. They want to make an impact for us. Because why? Because they are afraid of the Most High's word. They're afraid of his prophecy and judgments coming to pass. Why? Because all we're doing is coming back to help our family. Everyone has had a family member that has gone through some sort of drugs or chemical dependency and have had to deal with them, whether it's a mother, father, aunt, uncle, cousin, son, or daughter, husband or wife. Oh boy. And I get it. If you don't want to do the work, that's fine. Man-made ideas. Okay. So when you witness, I guess that's a man-made idea to be a witness. I I get these straw man arguments. I get it. And that's just fear talking. And that's okay. But for those that are led by the Ruach HaKodesh and that want to do the work, that's the plea. This wasn't going to be easy coming out of captivity. The word commands you to literally flee. When that time of persecution comes, and it's coming because they're already letting you know that they're getting ready to do it, they're putting the pieces together. Because why? Because when you see our people, that's how they're going to headline things. For our 400 years, I pray that we finally learned the game. They operate through blackface. It takes one of us to destroy us. Wasn't that Balaam? Have them destroy themselves? So now, yes, this container is moving. Because why? Because Judah is no longer vexed in Ephraim. And Ephraim is no longer vexed in Judah. It doesn't mean that's going to happen right away. It means that we're in the process of getting this started. And we've been in this process since 2024. Can we get a container out there? Yes, we are. And yes, we will. And it will be done. It will be done through literally the power of the Most High. And like I said, pray about it. And I pray that the Most High convicts you on it. Because I know that that's what we're working towards right now. Everything moves in his order, in his purpose. Garth and I didn't go to Q2 or didn't go to Burkina Faso just because, well, you know what? It's the thing to do. No, matter of fact, I was very reluctant. But now here's the challenge. The real challenge is once the container goes over, and those doors are opened even farther because they've been opened. You realize that, right? They've been opened. The governor of Burkina Faso, the government of Burkina Faso, Captain Traore himself, had opened the doors, and the U.S. is literally trying to slam the doors shut. This is why it's highly needed for a NeoDiplomatic Corps. This is why, in this time, as the Most High had moved me to where I needed to go, to be able to learn and to understand so I can communicate with our brothers and sisters. Right here, I lecture. But in the classroom setting, that's teaching. And you know what teaching is? Teaching is interaction. And also to build up our people to be boldly and to be confident in how they move and what they say. Because understand that everything that we have done, there's always an error. And just go to your job and you ask them, well, you don't want to get in trouble. You do the wrong thing, you'll get fired. Yeah, that's all on you. You mess up. Because why? There's always a level of fear and apprehension and uncertainty. Because why? Because they're always trying to throw you off. Don't be creative to be great. Don't use your ingenuity that the Most High has given you to be groundbreaking. Go in fear and then just use the scripture to be fearful. When we're literally commanded to be fearless. I think next week I'm gonna break out Sirach. We gotta go through some scriptures. But that's what they have told us. And that's what we have rejected. We've rejected that. And because we've rejected that, now break the Negro in the glass in case of emergency. Now, oh my goodness, these Negroes are coming up with a manner to talk to Burkina Faso as we're trying our best to label them, to label. I'm sick of being labeled, especially when the labels are lies. Aren't we sick of that as a people? You can go on right here to sign up for NeoDiplomacy 101. Right now, I have a class for our NeoDiplomatic Corps Cohort 2025. I'm accepting applications until April 27th. The first class starts May 4th. See, understand, faith without works is literally dead. I know it may be uncomfortable for people, and I get it. But guess what? It's going to start to be a whole lot more uncomfortable for us because they're literally telling you they're about to turn up the heat. How much more convincing do you need? Are you going to be convinced when you end up sitting next to Kilmar talking about, man, Kilmar, I knew they were coming for us, but I didn't see myself being here. Well, all you in is El Salvadorian underwear, boxers, and white tees. And I'm not trying to even laugh or make light of it because that literally came out of the leader's mouth. For those that want to sign up for the course, it's 50% off for the first 10. We've already had some people sign up. So again, those slots are moving fast. This isn't a time for talk. It's a time for action. And I thank you to those cohort members, our new cohort members. I appreciate you and I thank you. And guess what? As Brother Garth has said, the work is not in vain. Our hands are not slack. The Most High blesses the works of our hands. And when he does, who's going to be there to help in those efforts? Who's going to be there to help rebuild? Who's going to be there to help and explain it to our people? What is happening? What's going on? In the speech where Garth and I sat down in, look, Traore already said they can't do it by themselves. And it's not just Burkina Faso, that's Mali and Niger and other countries that's AES leaning. For those that want to participate in the 6-week program, because the full certification course is 12 weeks. That is also half off. And again, the proceeds that we collect goes towards the shipping container. So with this class, you're getting the full spectrum life cycle of the neo-diplomatic process. And with the interest in this class, I know undoubtedly I will have 20 slots and a waiting list. Because that's how the Most High works. So again, I thank you for the folks that have signed up, and I thank you for our people that are continuing to sign up. Because again, I say this, pray about it. I know for those that may not have the budget for this course, and that's okay. But guess what you can do? You can support efforts with a purchase of our $97 intro to Diplomacy course. That 97, the proceeds goes towards a pallet for the medical shipping container. So overall, you're supporting the diplomatic mission because it's all about the diplomatic engagement. Do you know when diplomacy starts? Diplomacy starts at home. The diplomatic engagement starts at home. Sister Grim Sincere, go ahead and email me and we can discuss. So again, classes start May 4th. You can find the certification course, and you can also visit the other classes that's offered at neodiplomacy.com. Here's the thing, I'm not moving on my own confidence. I'm moving on his confidence. And I'm letting his will be done. If you didn't know, if you haven't been on this channel for now over almost 5 years now, I let the Most High's will be done, and I choose to be a servant. And when I choose to be a servant, I choose to take action. Serving is an action word. And a lot of our people have been caught up in Eurocentric Christianity that I'm standoffish, I'm this and that. No. Eurocentric Christianity has you being docile. Because when you're serving, you're actually serving in the kingdom. You're serving in the Most High's kingdom. So this is all a part of kingdom work. And when a kingdom has been destroyed and the Most High is returning his people, it's going to take work. And we have kingdom work to do. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, yeah, I totally went over my time there. But with that said, family, I definitely appreciate you all's support. The support of these projects, these programs, the support of the organizations, and the support of this channel. It means a lot, family. And the awesome thing is that nothing is in vain. Nothing is done in vain. And yes, being a hearer and doer of the word is always uncomfortable. But isn't that exactly how the Most High does it? Ezra Alawi, man, he loves our struggle, but he blesses us in it. He surely does. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, I will be back on tomorrow with Q2A discussions. Yeah, I am going to be late. So let me get up on out of here so I can beat this. Well, not beat. I'm going to be stuck in this traffic. All right, family. Shalom. Be blessed and can focus on the King. His name is Yahushua HaMashiach. And I want to tell you this. We have favor, we have grace, and we have mercy, and we have abundance. We are the children of Yasharel. And we're covered under the blood of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we live and we work and we move in his power because he is the power and the authority. All praises and honor belong to him. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, most high willing, I'll see you on tomorrow. And then you know the schedule by now. Hallelujah. So with that, family, be blessed.